Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a really quite chilling and complex case from India. It starts with what looks like a terrible accident. A wife is found dead in her bed, and there's a cobra in the room. But as investigators dug deeper, well, things weren't what they seemed. Something much darker was going on. Okay, let's unpack this.
It's true. Snake bites are sadly quite common in some parts of India, a real danger. But this specific case, it initially looked like one of those tragic accidents, but there were red flags pretty quickly.
Definitely.
Things that made investigators take a much, much closer look.
And that's what we're doing in this deep dive. We're following the unsettling story of Uthra Kumar. We'll see how this seemingly straightforward, tragic snakebite death unraveled into a meticulously uncovered murder plot.
Yeah, revealing some really surprising facts and honestly some truly dark intentions.
So our story begins in Kerala, southwest India. A beautiful place, actually known for its natural scenery. And the main people involved are Surat Kumar, he was 27, and Uthra, who was 25. They got married back in 2018. Now, how they met, it wasn't a traditional arranged marriage, which is quite common there.
Yep.
They actually used a matchmaking service, shared their info, met, and, well, apparently fell in love. Had a simple wedding.
Right. And their backgrounds were quite different, which is important here. Suraj, he came from a pretty modest working-class family.
Yeah.
Bank employee. His dad drove an auto rickshaw. You know, those three-wheel taxis.
Yeah.
And his mother was a homemaker, standard working family.
But Uthra, she came from a very different situation. A well-to-do middle-class family. They had inherited wealth.
And there's a really crucial, heartbreaking detail about Uthra. She had a learning disability. We don't know the exact type, but it meant she was very trusting, maybe easily deceived.
Yeah.
Just incredibly pure-hearted, you know. She apparently struggled to tell if people had, ulterior motives. Her family knew this. They raised her with so much care. Her brother even told her before the marriage, just find someone who understands you, someone willing to try. Don't worry about finding someone wealthy.
Wow. So their priority was just her well-being.
Exactly. Her vulnerability and how much her family cared for her, it tragically made her a target for someone just looking to exploit her.
And reflecting that care, her family was incredibly generous when they got married. They gave gifts, but importantly, these were voluntary gifts, not demanded. That's a key difference in India. We're talking the substantial amount of gold bars, a brand new Suzuki sedan, and 500,000 Indian rupees in cash. Plus, they even agreed to a monthly allowance, specifically for Uthra's medical care for her condition, about 3,000 rupees a month.
It's worth just quickly noting, demanding dowry is illegal in India. There's the Dowry Prohibition Act, carries jail time or fines. But here, it really seems these gifts were just genuine love and support from Uthra's family, wanting to ensure she and her new husband were okay, especially given her condition.
So things started out okay, it seems. They had a son in 2019, and Uthra apparently adored him. But then Uthra started noticing a change in Suraj. He became, impatient, started verbally abusing her, even though she remained, by all accounts, completely devoted to him. At first, she tried to explain it away. Maybe he was stressed about money, supporting the new family, her needs, his own parents and sister, too.
And that's such a human thing to do, isn't it? Trying to rationalize difficult behavior in someone you care about.
Right. Blame it on outside pressures.
Yeah. But her kind interpretation, while totally understandable, it really missed a darker pattern that was emerging.
A pattern that definitely grew. Suraj started asking her family for more money. A lot more. First, it was for, quote, their comfort. Things like home decorations, furniture, just living expenses for Uthra and the baby.
Okay.
Then he got bolder. Asked for a new car, saying it's for safety now that they had a child. Her family thought it was a bit strange, but they kept giving him the money.
Wow.
But then it went even further. He started asking for money to cover his own parents' living costs and his sister's university fees.
Okay, that's crossing a line.
Exactly. That's when Uthra's family really started to feel burdened and seriously worried about Uthra's financial future. Okay, let's fast forward to May 2020. By this point, Suraj and Uthra had actually moved into Uthra's parents' house.
For her recovery, presumably. Or just living there.
The sources imply it might have been related to her recovery after a previous incident we'll get to. But they were living there. Suraj kept his routine, going to work each day. Uthra managing the house. Then comes the morning of May 7th, 2020. Uthra's mother realizes Uthra hasn't woken up yet, and it's getting late. She goes to her room, the door's locked.
Locked from the inside.
It seems so. The parents get really worried, they break down the door, And the scene inside is just horrific. Uthra's dead on the bed, mouth open, arm hanging off the side, cold. And there, in the room with her, is a large cobra.
A cobra.
Uthra's father killed the snake right away. They saw 2 clear snake bite marks on her left arm. They rushed her to the hospital, but it was too late. She officially died on May 8th.
And the cause of death confirmed.
Confirmed as a cobra bite. The venom's a neurotoxin, attacks the nervous system. She was only 25, married 2 years, son barely 2 years old.
It's just devastating. And Suraj's reaction, this is where it gets really chilling. Instead of grief, the first thing he apparently did was ask about Uthra's life insurance policy.
Yeah,
what grieving husband does that? It's such a stark contrast. It just screams premeditation, doesn't it? Strips away any idea of an accident.
Absolutely. And Uthra's family, they had questions right away. Big ones. How did a large cobra get into a locked room?
Right.
How did Suraj, sleeping in the same bed, not hear anything? Especially 2 bites. She must have reacted somehow.
You'd think so. Screamed, moved.
Something. Why didn't he notice she was dead or see the snake when he left for work that morning? And why was his only thought the insurance money? His explanation was just flimsy. Said he heard nothing, was rushing to work, didn't want to wake her.
Doesn't hold water at all.
Not even slightly. But then, Uthra's family dropped a bombshell. They told investigators this wasn't the first time, this fatal bite. It wasn't isolated.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They revealed Uthra had survived 2 previous snake encounters.
2 other...
Yes. The first was back in late February 2020. Uthra was still at Suraj's family home then. She called her mom, terrified, said she'd seen a big snake on the stairs. Luckily, she saw it, wasn't harmed. Suraj apparently got rid of it. Okay, incident 1. Then, less than a week later, March 2nd. This time, Suraj calls Uthra's parents. Says Uthra is in the hospital, bitten by a snake on her leg.
Oh, no.
He claimed it must have come in through an open window.
Okay, but wait. What kind of snake was it the second time? Was it another cobra?
No, and this is crucial. The second time, it was a Russell's viper.
A Russell's viper. Okay, completely different venom. That's hemotoxic, right? Affects the blood, tissue damage.
Exactly. Not a neurotoxin like the cobra. Hemotoxic. Causes blood cells to break down. Massive tissue damage.
And the impact... It must have been severe if she was hospitalized.
It was incredibly severe. Uthra was in the hospital for 52 days.
52 days?
Yes, she needed 3 surgeries. And even though she survived that bite, she was left with a permanent walking disability. The tissue damage was that bad.
My God. So she survives this horrific viper bite, moves back to her parents' home, presumably for safety.
Exactly, for recovery and safety. And yet, the third attack, the fatal one with the cobra, happens there. In the place she was supposed to be safe.
This pattern, 2 previous attacks, then the fatal one, it just screams this wasn't coincidence. Impossible.
No, absolutely impossible. And her parents knew it. They pushed the authorities hard for a proper investigation. Police, snake experts, the whole thing, and the autopsy. It confirmed their worst fears and more. Besides the cobra venom, they found sleeping pills in her system.
Sleeping pills. So she was drugged.
Strongly suggested she was drugged, yes.
Yeah.
And the venom concentration. It pointed to the bite happening around 1 a.m.
1 a.m. But Suraj claimed he was already at work or left early.
Exactly. It completely contradicted his story.
And the snake experts, what did they find at the scene?
Their reconstruction was critical. First, the room itself, that gap under the door. Way too small for a 1.5 meter cobra to just slither in. Impossible.
Yeah.
Second, the window theory. Dismissed. Cobras can only climb vertically about 1/3 of their body length.
Right, so maybe 50 centimeters for a snake that size. Nowhere near high enough to reach a second-story window.
Precisely. And behaviorally. They tested it. A cobra wouldn't just strike a sleeping person or even a mannequin unless it was provoked. Repeatedly.
So the snake didn't act on its own. Someone made it bite her.
That's what the evidence pointed to. And the bite marks themselves. Damning. Normal cobra bites are small punctures. Uthra's wounds were much wider, deeper, 2.3 centimeters and 2.6 centimeters.
That's significantly larger. What does that mean?
It means the fangs were likely forced into her arm. Held there. Human intervention.
Jesus. And didn't you mention the timing, 1 a.m.? That's weird for a cobra too, right?
Yes, another piece. Cobras are usually active earlier, before 8 p.m. They become more dormant later. An attack at 1 a.m. is highly unlikely natural behavior.
So you have an unnatural entry, an unnatural time, unnatural bite marks, and a drugged victim.
The picture was becoming terrifyingly clear. The police confronted Suraj with all this overwhelming evidence. And finally, on July 12, 2020, he confessed.
He admitted it.
He admitted everything, meticulously planning all 3 snake attacks. His confession laid it all out. how he'd studied videos online, learning how to handle venomous snakes.
Researching his murder weapon.
Yeah. He bought the Russell's Viper for 10,000 rupees, about 4,400 Thai baht from a black market dealer for those first 2 attempts. For that second attack, the Viper bite, he admitted putting a small dose of sleeping pills in her dessert.
To make her drowsy, easier for the snake to bite.
Exactly. Then he pretended to find the snake, rush her to the hospital, even pretended to throw the snake away afterwards.
Unbelievable calculation.
And it gets worse. While she was still recovering from that Viper bite, the one that disabled her,
Yes.
he bought the Cobra for 3,000 Thai baht, same dealer, already planning the final act.
While she's lying there injured from his previous attempt.
Yes. For the fatal attack, he confessed he put a large dose of sleeping pills in her juice, made sure she was deeply unconscious. Then he took the Cobra, grabbed its head, and physically forced its fangs into her arm twice.
Force the bite twice. Dear God. So what was the motive? Why go to such horrific lengths?
It was cold, calculated. He said he was tired of caring for Uthra because of her learning disability and her medical needs after the Viper bite he caused.
Tired of caring for her.
And his income wasn't enough. He was dependent on her family's money. He wanted out of the marriage, but he wanted to keep her wealth.
So divorce wasn't an option for him financially?
Apparently not. His solution: take out life insurance on her, which he did 3 months before the murder. Named himself the only beneficiary.
And then kill her for the payout.
Kill her for the payout and make it look like a common accident.
And he even researched how common snake bite deaths are.
He did. He cited WHO stats. 1.2 million deaths in India between 2000 and 2019. That's like 175 a day on average. He thought it would provide perfect cover.
Thinking the sheer number of accidental bites would hide his murder.
Yeah. Oh, and they also found out he'd stolen all that gold her family gave him at the wedding. Dug it up from his backyard.
Just pure greed and callousness.
So, the trial. It actually moved quite fast, even with the pandemic. They used online hearings. And on October 13th, 2020, just 5 months after the murder, Surat Kumar was found guilty. First-degree murder.
And the sentence?
2 life sentences. No possibility of appeal. Plus, he had to pay compensation to Uthra's family. About 230,000 Thai baht equivalent.
A strong sentence. Did the judge comment on his lack of remorse?
Explicitly. The judge highlighted Surai showed absolutely zero remorse, zero empathy, just cold calculation throughout.
What about the snake dealer, the one who sold him the Viper and the Cobra?
He was questioned, claimed he had no idea what Suraj planned to do. The source material doesn't say if he faced charges for the illegal sale, though.
Which is a whole other issue, right? Enabling these crimes even unknowingly.
Definitely. For Uthra's family, justice was served, legally speaking, but they're still deeply hurt. Suraj never apologized, never showed any remorse towards them.
How could you after such betrayal?
Their young son, Uthra's son, he's being raised by his grandparents now. They vowed he'll remember his beautiful mother.
A small comfort, perhaps, in such a tragedy. And did this case have any wider impact?
It did. It really shone a spotlight on the illegal snake trade in India. There were much louder calls for stricter regulations afterwards to try and stop something like this from happening again.
So maybe some positive change can come from this horror.
Let's hope so. So we've walked through this really chilling case today. Started as a tragic accident, ended up as this calculated, brutal murder.
Yeah, what does it all mean, really?
Well, what stands out is the meticulous planning, the coldness.
For me, the Uthra case is just a horrifying example of how easily someone evil can twist something ordinary, something natural like a snake bite, into a weapon. It really forces you to look closer, doesn't it? To question things that seem straightforward. It shows how vital that critical thinking is, not just accepting the surface explanation.
It really does. And a final thought for you, our listener.
Yeah.
How unsettling is it that a common danger, something people in that region live with, could be turned into a murder weapon with such cold calculation? Mm-hmm. What stands out to you about how easily a tragedy like this can be manipulated, twisted into something so sinister? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If this story intrigued you, please subscribe to The Deep Dive for more explorations of complex topics. Share this with anyone you think would appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.